So, what if I told you that for most traders, the real secret to winning in the markets has almost nothing to do with picking the right stocks? It sounds crazy, right? Well, today we're going to dive into a legendary book that basically flips all that conventional wisdom on its head and shows us where success actually comes from. Okay, here it is. This is Dr. Van Tharp's Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom. Now, this book is basically required reading on Wall Street, and for good reason. It makes you rethink, well, everything you thought you knew about trading. But here's the thing. To really get why this book is so powerful, we can't start with some big success story. Nope, we have to start with a failure. All right, first up, The Trader's Loss Trap, a story of failure. Now, our story here kicks off with something that's, well, it's painful, but it's also incredibly common for traders. It's this psychological pitfall that can take one tiny mistake and turn it into an absolute financial catastrophe. It's called the loss trap. This quote really hits hard. It's from Chuck Whitman, who's the CEO of a huge trading firm, and he's talking about this absolutely catastrophic loss he had early in his career. See, he was just so convinced his trade was right that even when it started going against him, he refused to accept it. He was struggling to avoid that feeling, the pain of being wrong. And man, that's a feeling a lot of traders know way too well. So what happened to Whitman? He was caught in what Dr. Tharp calls the loss trap. And it's this really vicious emotional cycle, right? You refuse to accept a small loss, and that just causes it to spiral and spiral until it becomes a massive, devastating one. And it's this exact experience that sends so many traders on a very specific, and as we're about to see, a deeply flawed quest. Which brings us to our next section, searching for the Grail, the flawed quest. After a loss that painful, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to find a way to make sure it never, ever happens again. And this is what kicks off that big, flawed quest for the so-called Holy Grail of trading. So how do they react? Well, they start buying up all the books, subscribing to every newsletter, paying for super expensive software, you name it. And all of it is promising some kind of hidden secret. They become absolutely convinced that there's some magic formula out there, a perfect system that is designed to never, ever be wrong. And this right here is where you see the core of the problem. They're asking completely the wrong questions. I mean, just look at them. What's the market going to do now? What should I buy now? Just tell me how I can be right most of the time. See? It's all about prediction. The entire quest is just to find that one perfect entry signal so they can feel right. But here's the big twist in the story. After all that time, all that effort, all that searching, what if they're focused on the single least important part of trading? Well, according to Dr. Tharp's research into the world's best traders, that's exactly what's happening. Okay, moving on to the big reveal. The secret is you. So if that entry signal, the one thing literally everyone obsesses over, if that isn't the secret, then what is? Well, the answer changes everything. The real secret to winning in the markets. It's you. Take a look at this. This single image completely shatters that whole Holy Grail myth we were just talking about. This is Dr. Tharp's model of what actually creates trading success. And just look at it. See how tiny that system slice is? That's the entry signal everyone is chasing. It's just a tiny, tiny fraction of what really matters. Okay, let's really break this down. Dr. Tharp argues that a staggering 60% of your trading success comes from your psychology. We're talking about your mindset, your beliefs, your ability to control yourself. Then another 30% comes from position sizing. That's just how you manage risk, right? How much you decide to bet on any given trade. And the system itself, the part everyone chases, a measly 10%. This changes the entire game. It's not about predicting the market. It's about managing yourself. And this is exactly why the quote-unquote best system in the world can still fail spectacularly. Think about it. If a system doesn't align with your personality, with your core beliefs, with your actual tolerance for risk, you're just not going to follow it consistently. It's that simple. True, lasting success isn't something you find in the market. It's something you have to build from within. So if that old model is totally broken, what's the new blueprint? I mean, how do you actually build trading success that lasts? Well, that's what we're looking at next, a new trading blueprint, the path forward. Okay, so this is the exact framework that Chuck Whitman, the trader from our story at the beginning, adopted after that huge loss. And I want you to pay close attention to the order of importance here. It starts with number one, psychology, mastering your inner state. Then, number two, position sizing, controlling your risk on every single trade. Then, market selection. After that, you've got exits, knowing when to get out. And then, dead last is entries. Can you believe it? Your entry signal is the least important piece of the entire puzzle. Let's make this super clear. On one hand, you've got the common beliefs most people have. You have to pick the right stock. When you lose, you're victim of the market. Sound familiar? Well, Tharp's principles completely flip this on its head. He says your entry is the least important part. He says you are responsible for your own results, and risk isn't controlled by some lazy diversification. It's controlled by active position sizing on every single trade. So, what's the ultimate goal here? Where does all this lead? Well, it's about more than just learning a few new tactics. It's about a fundamental, deep shift in how you even see the markets themselves. This is about trading your beliefs, the ultimate goal. Now, this next quote is really profound. Tharp says, you cannot trade the markets. Instead, you trade your beliefs about the market. Just let that sink in for a second. You're not actually reacting to some objective thing out there called the market. No, you're acting on your personal beliefs about it. And that means your trading system has to be a direct extension of who you are. Because if there's a conflict between your system's rules and what you deeply believe, well, I'll tell you right now, your beliefs are going to win every single time, and they'll usually do it by sabotaging your trading. So why does all this internal work, all this psychology stuff even matter? Because it connects directly to the ultimate prize, the one right there in the book's title, financial freedom. And Tharp defines this really clearly. It's not about having a mansion or $1 billion. Nope. It's simply the point where the passive income your money generates is greater than your monthly expenses. That's it. And this entire framework is designed to make that very real, very tangible goal actually achievable for you. So at the end of the day, the secret to winning isn't hidden in some obscure chart pattern or a magic indicator you can buy online. The most important factor, the most important variable in the whole equation will always be you. And that leaves us with one final and maybe the most crucial question of all. If the most important factor is you, what's the first belief you need to change?